A video is seen when the South Sudan SPLA, that is the army, was provoking the UPDF, that is the Uganda People's Defense Force. We all know that the Uganda People's Defense Force is more superior than the SPLA, and it is a force that helped greatly South Sudan to gain its independence. Now they are trying to alternate borders so that they can take land with bad manners. Let me first play a video to show you that Salva Kiir has failed to govern South Sudan, and if he doesn't stop, he may end up breaking the relationship which is between Uganda and South Sudan. Here's what happened.
The other DC Ramu and my IO. So I found there are things which are very clear and which you want to take really to take note of. This road was constructed by government of Uganda. From here, this stone, this is the no man's land. The quarter stops on that corner, where the first vehicle stopped, where the tarmac. But it is not where the no man's land stops. No man's land stops like 200 meters after the corner. That's anything here is no man's land. Under the law of international border, I am not supposed to cross here. Nothing supposed to cross here. Nothing supposed to cross kilometer 0. South Sudan must also be having kilometer what? 0. No man's land is not a kilometer 0 in Uganda. It's not a kilometer 0 in South Sudan.
That is the video when a soldier from the UPDF was talking to the Sudanese forces. What I realized in that video, you clearly see that the SPLA doesn't have a proper chain of command. And it also points to the poor administration by President Salva Kiir. So the purpose of this video, I've come to first analyze what was in the video, but also give advice to the South Sudanese government on how they can uplift the country, but most importantly, the studies we can learn from the politics of our nation. But before I do this, I want to let you know that if you're new to this channel, please subscribe. And if you're watching this video from a different platform, please head on to YouTube, type in Sula Mawagali. There's a lot of content of this nature. If geopolitics and economics is what you want, this will be definitely the right channel for you to subscribe to. One, I first forgive South Sudan because it has just attained its independence. But there are some glaring mistakes we cannot be forgiven in the administration of Salva Kiir. One, Africans should understand that different leaders are made for different purposes to solve different solutions. During John Garang and Salva Kiir and all other Bushwa generals, their purpose was to liberate South Sudan, and they did a tremendous job. Now Salva Kiir should understand that there must be a paradigm shift from the bush to governing the nation, because the way how a leader conducts himself in the bush is totally different from the way how a leader conducts himself while holding state power. For example, in that video, clearly see a UPDF soldier was complaining that in South Sudan, even commissioners command generals. A governor of a state can command the army. How can you find it? What Salva Kiir should do is to first professionalize the army. I understand that this SPLA is guarding the state. It's now time to move on from the bush war and the guerrilla war syndrome to first professionalize the state so that there can be a chain of command. How can you tell me that a captain in the SPLA can give orders which are supposed to be given by the general? Some of the soldiers don't even keep their workstation. That brings the problem. In fact, let me add you another tip.
It's there. But Afande, where did this stone show kilometer 0 from Uganda? At Pirik, where you found us. From long ago is where this place has no water. it's a water scarce area, and it has no network. You can check your phones, whether South Sudan or Uganda. You can check because we have both lines. Now, because of so many factors, water, electricity, so many things. From long ago, Apirit had a big attack. When Apirit had a big attack, when we got peace here from LRA, when the South Sudan fighting also stopped and South Sudan became a republic and a friendly one, our immigration and our URA, for convenience, decided to co-locate with UPDF. But if anything, the border should be here. Actually, Lamo district allocated 3 kilometers here, 3 kilometers here for border construction. It is minuted. Other district can bring that minute. Before he came, even when Osborne was here. But to the surprise of Andy, because today we wanted to finish part of the work of tomorrow, as you can see, kilometer 1 is 0 here, unless they say those ones who constructed the road were not engineers, or they were stupid, or they did not have cartographers, or they did not have surveyors. As you see kilometer 0 here, you have seen the SPLA detached 4 kilometers from here on the main road. At these other places, you can say this place was confusing. I don't know if it was behind this hill or behind another hill. But here, any fool with a very low IQ can see that 4 kilometers on a main road, on a tarmac, from a single border, kilometer 0, 4 kilometers, South Sudan has. I find that the biggest work of a commander is territorial integrity, to defend territory. But because for us we exercise so much restraint, we are so patient, we don't treat South Sudan as an enemy country. When these people came here, he knows. We come and talk to them. See what has brought you. But the problem is that our brother this side, even a lieutenant, even a sergeant, has powers over general. My counterpart, the division commander, stays in Juba. His counterpart, Loboy commissioner, is a very, I wish he was here and I tell him in front of him, he's a very, very negative man. And it should be minuted. What is Uganda? I don't know what Uganda did to him. Even today he refused to come. He called him. He can show you the governor, Louis, is a very understanding man. He's a gentleman. But that commission of equities is the one bringing all the confusion. And on their side, commissioners command soldiers. Commissioners command soldiers. So that the fight is there because commissioner told them to go there. 4 kilometers inside Uganda. So at that time, I found we hosted the former CDF or SSPDF. And you know, remember there are some resolutions we made between our CDF and their CDF. And we said that we give it a month for each one. If you are UPDF, you on the Sudan side, South Sudan side, you shift. If you are SSPDF, you shift. So I could not come and start fighting with these boys. I could not. They even fetch water. I think you met 2 motorcycles going to bring water for them from a period. We have been patient. We are breeding, and we are really thinking some things are not for force. Some things can be used, sort of using common sense. So I find I would.
So that is the tape. So you clearly see the UPDF officer explaining that. Secondly, Salva Kiir should understand that sometimes governing the country, you must move away from the army you came with, because majority of the army never went to school. Those who went to the bush. So if you're the president of the country, I'm not saying that you should chase away their comrade. But even if it calls for that to streamline South Sudan, you do it. How can you tell me that the vice president is a Bush war general, a minister is a Bush war general, a minister of education is a Bush war general, governor of a certain state is a Bush war general? That is a syndrome. You can professionalize the army. Even if you want to reward those who came from the bush, the government is so huge. But in where Government needs some serious people for administration. You can. Government should start employing people who have went to school. There are very many South Sudanese in Uganda. So if I understand that Salva Kiir is poor in administration. He may be a very good general. He may be good at keeping power. But there are some unforgivable instances. So that scenario that you saw in that video is unfortunate. Imagine Uganda was on the forefront of supporting South Sudanese independence for very many years, to an extent that Omar al-Bashir had some altercation with General Kaguta Museveni. Garanga used to sleep here. Riek Machar used to sleep here. Even when there was uprising, when they are going to overthrow Salva Kiir, it is the UPDF that stops that uprising. So if rogue army officers continue alternating the Ugandan border, that is a problem in the South Sudanese administration, and this must stop. So Salva Kiir, I understand, is now an old man. In fact, it is even time for Salva Kiir to move away from power because he's becoming dysfunctional. The last time I saw him pissing in his pants, is not healthy. Yet he's even more younger than General Kaguta Museveni. I'm not saying that General Kaguta Museveni is performing very well in Uganda. No, because even Uganda is now for General Museveni to go. But at least South Sudan should copy a leaf in different countries, most especially those who got their leadership through a coup. I know South Sudan is a young country. It has a lot of things to learn, but there are some small things that would have been sorted before all this. Because if these bad manners continue, do you think South Sudan is a match for the UPDF? Of course not. Of course not. It is not a match. In fact, even if the UPDF marched to Juba to overthrow Salva Kiir, it would do within no minute. So one of your favorite allies, that is the UPDF that help you attain independence, must not be suffering because of the rogue leaders, the rogue commanders who abdicate duty. Those things must stop with immediate effect. Of course, it's my opinion. I mean, it's truly Mr. Makindi, Kavi Suleiman Magal. If you're into this channel, please subscribe, like, and comment so that I'm motivated to do more of such videos. I will see you on another one. Peace.